YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. We are through week one of preseason. I got some takeaways. We don't want to overact too much, but there's some positives to takeaways from some teams I'm feeling a little bit better about, maybe a unit or the team in general. And then there's some teams maybe we're a little disappointed in or something. There's a little bit of concern here. So basically a stock report after preseason week one with some takeaways. We'll do the same thing for week two. Full NFL coverage here at the Goat House, so like, subscribe to notifications on. Cannot wait for in-season content. Follow us on Twitter, live updates, news, rumors, talking during live games, even the preseason games. Super follow us there for some bonus content, more to come during the season. Yeah, here's our Twitter. College poll came out. We got news, rumors, updates, keeping you a lot of cuts going on this time of the year. We got you guys covered here. So the stock report. I put the Jaguar, even though they lost the game. I'm not really too worried about who's winning, who's losing for the most part. But maybe a little bit of a concern on the deeper down the roster, the depth chart for the Jags. They could play a little bit better, but overall impressed. This was the Jags' second preseason game, but for the starters, pretty much the first one. But I was impressed with starters here, and it kind of makes me a little more impressed, heading into the season, what to expect for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Offensively and defense impressed me early against a tough Browns team. See Deshaun Watson play. But for the offense, I like what I saw from Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, I'm a believer in him. I've kind of put that out there during this offseason. But I made some really good throws. He had on a third down, it was their second field goal. He had a ridiculous throw. It was kind of tight, in left corner of the end zone. That was a ridiculous throw. There probably could have been some interference on that. That's a really tough throw, but it was an absolute laser. So actually, positive takeaways from that. If I had to nitpick, like we just said, they got in the red zone easy. Want to get those field goals, turn them into touchdowns. So if you had to nitpick there. But I like the way they moved the ball. I like what I saw from Trevor Lawrence. You can see it's obvious that he's going to be better, that the weapons are better, that the coaching's better. We saw him take off on a run very early in that game. I really look at that defense. So that defense was playing lights out. Travon Walker, another good week, I thought, from him for the limited sample size we saw. But they were giving Deshaun Watson problems. They forced a fumble very early in that. It felt like a team defense. Everyone flying to the ball, tight in coverage, stopping a run. And see a lot more starters out there, definitely than we saw last week, which was pretty much in the Hall of Fame, which was no starters. So that kind of gets me a little excited about the Jags. I don't want to get too carried away and overreact. There's going to be some people out there who are like, all right, some teams look good. All right, they're going to be a playoff team because they look good in preseason week one. We're not going to do anything near that here. We're just kind of getting the takeaways, here, what kind of impressed. But there's some promise there for the Jaguars, both sides of the ball. So we'll see what they got for us here in week two of preseason. Got to go with the Steelers. Feeling a little bit better about them because the only concern, and I don't know if I'll say that, like the Jags, I had both, offense and defense kind of felt like stock up. I don't know if I could say that the Steelers, like the defense is what it is. We know what it's going to be. I don't know if there's really much change there. But the thing with the Steelers was, the evaluation of the Steelers was like a pretty good team, pretty good coaching staff. The quarterback situation, offensive line situation, a little iffy on those things, which could hold them back to what they can be. Limit almost the whole team, but quarterback play seemed to be pretty good. I thought Trubisky came out, looked pretty damn confident, which was different for him because that was kind of the main thing for him in the past was he was just lacking confidence. I guess the true test would be an actual game where there's more pressure to actually see if he has that confidence, but I like what I saw from him, getting the ball out quick, going through progressions, rolling out, making a throw on the run, so a really good start from him. But we saw Mason Rudolph play pretty well, and then we saw Kenny Pickett, their first-round draft pick, play pretty damn well. So the quarterback situation goes from we got a battle, but it's not really a good battle, to all right, they might have a decent situation here. And you see George Pickens looking. The offensive line I'm still a little iffy on. There was some random pressure that I didn't like, especially from the interior. But overall, if you feel a little bit better about a team's quarterback situation where the only thing that's holding the team in general back, which could be a good team, was the quarterback situation, then therefore I just think stock up. It's still definitely to be determined. Like I said, Trubisky, what's going to happen is a little more pressure on him. We want to see more of him. Pickett, for an example, what's going to happen if he plays against ones or twos. So there's still kind of to be determined, but I feel a little bit better after preseason week one from the Pittsburgh Steelers and their quarterback situation, their playmakers. It just kind of goes back to like Tomlin gets this team ready. He always, him and that coaching staff, they get get this team ready to compete, maybe better than what people think. So overall, good signs from the Steelers there. Niners as well, mainly from an offensive side of things, but I feel a little bit better about them as well because we knew the defense is going to be solid. And then you kind of, same thing as the Steelers, you kind of wonder, what's Trey Lance got, a little bit of a question. And then the interior offensive line, I think everything held up pretty well. I think Trey Lance looked smooth, looked really good. We know he has that deep ball, down the field, looked pretty accurate there. So, and then kind of going through training camp, like the start of training camp is like kind of what we expect. Lance a little bit iffy here, a little inconsistent. But then the late part of training camp going into this game, you hear really good things, and he's progressing, really improving. So, and then going into this game, we really like what we see from him. And then getting more weapons involved, like guys like Danny Gray, that's just fantastic. So they may have more weapons than we thought as well that can contribute right away. So overall, yeah, there's not too many things that could be holding the Niners back, but those things, I thought looked pretty good. So overall, that makes me feel a little bit better about the 49ers here after their performance in week 1. I put the Broncos in here, even though we didn't really see starters for the most part there from them. The vibes I got from the Broncos in that game, pretty good. As a team, they look like well prepared, look like an actual team. So I was very impressed with that. Especially I like the depth. I wasn't gonna have depth play a big part in stock up, stock down because it's kind of going into the regular season. But for the team like the Broncos, looking at kind of a problem that people had on them was they got a pretty good starting pass rush with Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory. What if these guys don't play the full load? Are they in trouble? But see guys like Baron Browning just create problems, and he looks like such a good player there that maybe they are able to get creative with him, but then have him play with Gregory and Chubb. But he's also a legit backup piece. It kind of makes you feel a lot better, and you see Josh Johnson playing very well and slinging the ball around, hitting, making a big time catch, and it just felt like watching this game all around that they were well coached, well prepared. It just feels like a team to me. That's kind of the vibes I got from a game like this. So on both sides of the ball. So it makes me feel a little bit better about the Broncos, a team that I think everyone felt pretty good about anyways. But, playing that AFC West, it's like, hey, you might be, even though they feel like a playoff team, they might be borderline because what they have to play with. But feeling pretty good about them from what I saw there, for sure. I feel very good about key rotation pieces, which I thought there's some teams where it's like, does that matter that much? I thought it matters big time for the Broncos here. Colts an interesting team. I'm actually blocking. There's two parts of the Colts. So you see, for the Colts, I have offense down and defense up. For them, I'll put myself back up there, but the defense is on the way up based on how they played. I wish the defense would have went against the Bills ones though, but the defense kind of looked like it was everywhere. They created a lot of turnovers, better pass rush. It looks like the safety play, all the way around looked really good. A bunch of playmakers back there, young promising players. But the offense was extremely disappointing. We saw the starters out there minus Jonathan Taylor. For a bit. I don't know if they planned on playing that long. I think it was 4 series. I think they were insisting on getting something going, and they really couldn't. And the problem with that is it was against the Bills' backup defense, which overall, the Bills aren't in this video, but the Bills had a pretty good day, I thought, as well. That feels like they know how to prepare their team. They got a bunch of ball players, but the stock doesn't really change for the Bills. It might be the top contender, but I don't know if Matt Ryan really struggled. One thing I don't like is he's kind of looking for guys to be wide open to make throws. He couldn't really hit. He kind of wants guys to be for some reason. That's kind of what it looked like. Is that Matt Ryan? I didn't really think that's really him. But that kind of goes in the receivers, which I kind of do. That's kind of the big part of this stock going down offensively is that I do worry about the receivers. It's pretty much Michael Pittman, and there's Pierce will be able to do some things here and there, but kind of worry about separation. Separation seems to be a thing all the way around. Even Pittman doesn't get a whole lot of separation, even though he's a phenomenal receiver. So is that an issue? Guys getting open. The Bills, young corners really locked them down, and the Colts just could not get anything going offensively. And it's like if it was the Bills starting defense, it'd been like, it'd probably be a little bit of a concern still, where it's like you wish they would have got something going. Like this is a team, you want to be able to put a fight with. I mean, this is a top team in the AFC, but it's against a lot of backups there, and those backups really created problems for them. So it's just isn't knocking the rust off. New quarterback. No Jonathan Taylor in there. Is that why? Hopefully, it's only been 1 week of preseason, so you definitely don't want to overreact too much. But it isn't the best look there, obviously, for them. But again, the defense up. I did like what I saw from the defense. Maybe slight up, though, because it was against backups there for them as well. But I think the defense on paper is definitely better than what it has been. But it should be better in general. Team that's going down here, the Browns. Deshaun Watson knocking the rust off. That kind of makes sense. There was a lot of people. I mean, I tweeted out his first pass, and it was a bad incompletion. Even though I tweeted out the video, I just tweeted it out because I thought people would be very interested, and they were interested in it. I wasn't saying, making a statement with that. There's a lot of people that are saying, they shouldn't have paid him all this money. That's a big-time overreaction. I think Deshaun Watson, whenever he plays, I think will be fine. But, yeah, they were sloppy in general. I mean, Watson was sloppy. The running game was sloppy. I know the starters weren't out there for that. The receivers, a big-time problem. It really feels like they have Amari Cooper, and that's it. There's guys that can't catch the ball. They're just really don't know how to get separation, get open, read routes. When to stop their route, understand where the sticks are at. So it's just in general, not just the receivers, but mainly the receivers, just sloppy in general. I thought the Jaguars had their way with the Browns, early in the game, which is most of the starters there offensively and defensively. I mean, the Jaguars defense really gave the Browns offense problems, but the Jaguars were actually able to move the ball pretty well as well. I know we didn't get, nearly all the starters in there for the Browns, but early in the game you expect a little bit more. So, and the Browns, I look at their roster and it's like, that's a pretty damn good roster, whether Watson's in or out, but then things start to pop up and happen and they kind of pop up at you like, all right, maybe not quite as good. Maybe there's still a little bit of work in progress, maybe, you want to overreact from a little small sample size from preseason. And this one's definitely debatable maybe with the Jets because I know there's some people that are going to say, well, Flacco starting, they actually might be better. And I understand that argument, even though you rather have Wilson, whether you're a Jets fan or not, you rather have Wilson in there because he is the future and he has, even if he's struggles right now, he could be good. He has a lot of potential. So that is a big reason why stock down. Again, I can still understand the debate that Flacco could make them better in a week 1 game, not in the long haul perhaps, and Wilson could miss 2 to 4 weeks, so that very well may be the case. So, but yeah, other things too. We saw a small sample size of Wilson in that offense, and you start to look at this team throughout the offseason. They had a great draft. They have a bunch of weapons. The offensive line's a lot better. Wilson could actually get better because that's what he's supposed to do. He's a young second year player, and he's got all that talent around him. He's going to get better. So you factor all that in, like the Jets, and you got to factor in that they can run the ball, they can pass the ball, should be able to factor all of that in. It's like the Jets offense should be a lot better. It shouldn't just be better. It should be a lot better. And I'm not saying like elite or anything like that. It just should be a lot better. And from the small sample size we saw, I just kind of felt like the same, and it's such a small sample size for all these teams, but it just felt like the same thing. I know Wilson had that interception was pretty bad. Like it was, those are ones like there's interceptions and there's those ones like where he's staring down one target and he's insisting on throwing it when he's kind of tight covered. That's not the major part, but he's so focused on that he didn't see the linebacker coming over. But it just seems like the same thing where it's like, it's kind of the same Jets offense. Yes, they could continue to get better, but maybe expecting a little bit more juice there, which we could get, still to be determined. But so that's mainly why it's kind of down there. Defensively, I still think the defense would be a little bit better. Did not love Quincy Williams hitting Jalen Hurts very late to extend that drive. It's just I don't want to see stupidity. I don't want to see it from the first defense out there, whether Williams is starting or not. He plays a bit, for them. So I just don't want to see stuff like that. It's not great looks. So, it's, I guess, a debatable one, like I said, because if they have Flacco out there, because Flacco, I think most people would say, is better than Wilson today. Does that mean you want Flacco out there? It's the Jets' best interest to have Flacco out there today? No, definitely not. But so maybe they're a little more of a fight on offense with Flacco in there. So maybe some people would say, yeah, stock up because of that. But I'm not going to say this guy got hurt, so stock up. I'm kind of looking at it. The X's and O's, what happened on the field. I didn't really feel great about it, but it is very early for a team that's supposed to be kind of iffy right now and getting better. And then there's more teams I want to talk about here, and we can talk all day about what I liked and what I had specific players, position groups, but this is the gist of it here for teams. I was impressed with the Lions offense. It was one series, so it's kind of slight movement, but they looked fast, efficient. Goff looked good. The running backs looked good. Williams looked really good. Swift got the touchdown. Everyone looked really solid. It was a well-called drive. It was a scripted drive, though. And we see every year there's a chunk of teams that it's like, all right, the script is beautiful, and then after the script, they can't score. So that's why it's a little bit to be determined. But I really liked what I saw there in the offense. Defense, and this is why I didn't put them as, we saw the Colts early in this video. I had stock up, stock down. For offense and defense, it was split. Defense, I wasn't thrilled with the Lions. But it's not stock up offense, stock down defense, because the defense is kind of in that range where we thought it would be. So it's really no change there. But yeah, the defense let the Falcons, Mariota and the Falcons offense, have their way with them there. Some missed tackles, guys just not looking like they're, they couldn't set the edge. Guys that just weren't fast enough, maybe, which they should be. So a little sloppy there, but it's not much different than where we thought the Lions defense was at. I expect them to get a little bit better, though, because they have very talented young players that should be getting better. So they got to clean some of that stuff up. But I like what I saw from the offense. Definitely want to see more. And who they played, the Falcons are basically in the same boat. The Lions go down there and score with ease against the Falcons starting defense for the most part there. So is it stock down with the Falcons defense? No, I kind of expect them towards the bottom of the league, maybe heading in the right direction, but it is the Lions offense. You'd expect them to do a little bit more damage. So the defense not looking so great there. But offensively, I think I talked about a week ago or a week or two ago, they could be a little sneaky offensively because you have this Mariota type offense, a lot of running the ball. He can scramble, he can run, but then you got, which we didn't really get to see. We saw London get one catch and get hurt. It sounds like he's going to be okay. Fortunately, we didn't get to see Pitts out there, but you have this Mariota run offense and scrambling. You got to worry about that. You got to worry about containing. But then you have these giant guys you can throw the ball up to. It's a unique offense that actually might cause some problems. And we saw the Mariota portion in this game there, and he was running all over the place. He made some good throws. The throw to London was very good. So it's a sneaky offense there, and we saw that in this game. So I was thrilled with that offense, what we got to see from them in that. Defense definitely still iffy on. Giants are pretty much in the same boat. Offensively, they looked pretty good. I wish we got to see a little bit more. The only thing I wasn't thrilled with was Galladay. I didn't think Galladay had a good drive, in that first series there. But other than that, yeah, Daniel Jones did a pretty good job. I thought, taking what he could get, going through progressions, reading the defense. It seemed like it kind of reminded me of the Lions offense. What I saw from the Lions, it was pretty quick, well-called drive. A lot more efficient than we're used to seeing it, So I was pretty excited about the Giants' offense there as well. You kind of do worry about, I think the tackles will be fine. You worry about the interior blocking there for Daniel Jones, but and then defensively, I'm not worried or anything about the defense. It's just kind of the cornerback play, which we kind of mentioned in the offseason. It's kind of a Dory Jackson by himself. I think Aaron Robinson's the guy that could step up. It felt like the Patriots were really attacking him, though, so he could be better. But then you factor in Dory Jackson has some injury concerns as well. They're really thin on corners. And they got quite a few guys that can play in the slot, it feels like. And they got depth options, but it feels like they need another starter for sure because, if even with a Dory Jackson, but if he goes down, then they're really screwed, which that's kind of happened before there with that talented corner Jackson. So, like I saw early from that offense. So Saints are kind of up. It has nothing to do with really the actual preseason game, but what's going on around the league. And it sounds like Kamara, news this morning, will not be suspended, which we once thought he'd be suspended around 6 games. And he could get suspended next year. I guess it's another debate. I think if he's not, I don't know. I guess it's debatable. If they don't suspend him this year, I feel like it's like, how could you suspend him next year? I don't know. I guess it's debatable because maybe he has to pay the price of what he did. It being during the Pro Bowl, I guess, is kind of a bad look for the league. But I don't know. I don't really love how they're handling that situation, but the Saints stock up because I feel pretty good about the Saints. Like, I like their roster. We know they have a very good defense. I believe in Winston. He's got to stay healthy though, and he's been inconsistent throughout his career, but so has to be a little more consistent. But they really got better in terms of the receiver unit. So the idea of the Saints is like, all right, okay. But then you kind of have in the back of your mind the last several months that Kamara may get suspended 4 to 6 games or 4 to 8. I don't think it was ever going to be 8, but whatever. And it's like, damn, like, how do I feel right now? But now it sounds like he's not going to be suspended. So overall, just based on news, and then just kind of realizing that Michael Thomas is back. He's looking pretty good at training camp. They got better at the receiver unit. We know they have a good defense. All of that kind of makes you, in general, just feel better about the Saints. And then we'll go Eagles slight up. Why, slight? Because I don't know if they really changed too much because, we knew the Eagles got a good roster. It's a good roster. They got talent on both sides of the ball. Based on what I saw against the Jets, do I think their offense is a lot better than I thought already, or their defense a lot better? No. I just feel good about them. Offense came out, got the job done. There was a late hit that extended the drive, but they looked smooth, I guess is a good way to put it. They looked in sync. A lot of confidence. Felt like a team offense. Same with defense. Not a lot of starters out there, but it felt like a team defense flying to the ball. They had that nice interception, there as well. A couple of the Georgia Bulldogs came in there and were playing great. Jordan Davis, Kobe Dean. So, in general, it just felt like well-prepared, well-coached, already a team that's ready, in sync, playing as a team. So those things is kind of why slight up. But again, I don't think anything really changes. Like, I like their offense. I like their defense. They got talent everywhere. Do I think they're a lot better than what I thought yesterday or before the game? No, really not at all. Like, I think they're a good team, like both sides of the ball. But I just felt good about the vibes a little bit there. So it's not really changing how I feel. I just, I think everyone understands what I mean. I think I just, maybe a little bit. I feel a little better about them. That's why they're on here. So interesting. So I'm excited to watch to see if these things kind of stay true into preseason week 2, or we got changes, which other teams can make the list here. And there was more positive things I saw. Some depth players, some rookies playing well. I'm kind of mainly focused on things that can impact the actual season. So key, starters, key rotation guys, how their teams are prepared, things like that. Coaching goes into that. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. So if you think I missed something, what we can talk about in the comments, we're always talking about on Twitter with you guys there. Let me know your thoughts. Excited to do these every week, and we'll be talking during the live preseason games, most of them on our Twitter, news, rumors, updates on there as well. Super followers get bonus content, and then here on the channel we got all kinds of coverage, everything NFL here on the channel. So like, subscribe, turn notifications on, all that be much, much appreciated. That is going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.